All right, and welcome back for another episode of This Week in Charts via Carnivore Trades and Wall Street for Main Street. If you haven't so already, please give the video a thumbs up. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Come find Jason on Patreon and come find me on carnivoretrades.com for swing trading alerts analysis and live day trading. Let's get into it this week here. So pretty much a flat week, all things considered. If we look here on the weekly time frame, you can see, pretty much a flat week. So spiders closed last week at 56676. Closed down to $3. That's really nothing on the spiders, and we were down today about 81 cents, which again is nothing. Right now we are consolidating, and I'm going to use the futures here just so you can see it a little bit more cleanly. Well, we have cleared the 50 MA, and we are consolidating above that. So we do have a bull pattern here on the daily, a little bit of an inside bar, a little bit of a flag. And we talked about Powell coming up in last week's video, we talked about Powell and rate cuts were not priced in, rate cuts were not priced in or expected. And we did not get them, obviously. And a lot of people were looking for Powell to throw cold water on the rally. I was not necessarily one of those. I did not think we would see much more than consolidation here. And that's been the case so far. Now, going into next week, I do think there is some risk. But I would say for now, I would say give the market right now, we have a bull pattern here. Give the market the upside bias on, I'm just going to say on SPX, at least to 5750, maybe 5800. Now, we get closer to the middle of the week, middle to later part of the week. We've got some cycle stuff coming up here. I have some turn dates in play for like middle to late part next week, which means we could see some declines. We've had a very good move off the lows. We had 9 days, 600 points. That is, pretty much historic. You don't see that move very often. And, but it's been a good run here. But I do think we will see some possible risk come into play as we get into Options X for the month of May. Couple of things to help visualize. We finally saw fund managers chasing the rally a little bit. So NAAIM, so if you're not familiar, it's National Association of Active Investment Managers. And there's a kind of an exposure index there. This is actual positioning, not sentiment. And we saw a spike this week. Now, granted, this is basically just brings us back to historical norms. So it's not like I see some people pointing this out like, oh my God, it's the worst thing. It's basically just at a historical norm. You also had AII, which is a survey, sentiment survey. Bulls finally shot up a little bit, but again, historical average is it's way below, and bearish historical average is way above. Normally, in a normal market, if I see a 50 reading on this, I usually just buy, like as a, I go contrarian long, and we've been above 50 for I think 9 weeks now, which is I think a record. It's like 8 or 9 weeks. So that said, we're just kind of going back to normal here, sentiment-wise and exposure-wise. But that said, I'm just going to trust my analysis here and say that we can, maybe see a pullback. But, beginning of the week, I would give the market the benefit of the doubt until we start hitting these areas here. And again, looking at the triple Qs, for instance, you can see here, last Friday we touched the 200 moving average. We pulled back Monday, Tuesday. We touched it again Thursday. We touched it again today. Usually when you hit a level that many times and you don't reject, right? We're not rejecting, right? This to me, right? That would be a rejection to me, right? And we're not seeing that. We usually would touch it 3 times in the span of a week like that and we have higher lows here. I mean, look at an intraday, like the 4 hour, or even let's look at an hourly. You came back here and you pulled back. Now you got a higher low possibly. It looks like it wants to go through that is what I'm trying to say. So, maybe we could get up to 495, 500, maybe even, I don't know, that'd be a lot to ask, I think. But, maybe even we could go up and retest this trend line here, if I can pull it back, there we go, to the 2023 lows. I mean, that would be a stretch, I think, but it's possible. And again, you might say, well, what about all the macro? What about the thing is, this is a squeeze, right? They've been shorting. A lot of the market participants have been shorting because of the macro, and the market prices things in quicker than you think, and that's what causes these squeezes, right? So The macro will matter. It's just a matter of when positioning gets shaken out, and I think that's coming soon, potentially. Again, am I predicting new lows or anything? Not really. I think we can see a pullback. Maybe we could see more of a violent pullback, but I'm not really necessarily expecting that right now. So I would say this is a good area. Next week or so, good area to maybe hedge, and just be prepared for that. The most bull case scenario here would be we just go sideways and we just work off the overbought condition. And then I think, you really get bullish into summer if that happens. But right now I would just be a little cautious up here. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. Russell 2000 was down a little bit today, but that actually had a green week. Unlike the rest of the indexes. Remember the week of the 14th right here, I pointed this out to everybody. Everybody was bearish. And I said, look, the Russell 2000 closed the week green. It's the only index that did that for that week. And usually that's bullish, right? If small caps are leading, it's not a bad sign. So maybe a little bit of an indicator there. The diamond here closed the week flat, just like everything else. Not much else to add to that. Semiconductors did have a green week. So again, bullish, right? Semis bullish. That's good. You want to see the semis lead. And they held up okay this week. My favorite, as you guys know, I've been pumping this for a long time here. IGV, cloud software, flat to positive. It did close positive on the week. And I think cybersecurity, this is going to be huge. I think bigger than chips. I think a lot of the chip growth is kind of priced in here. I don't think cybersecurity and software is, personally. And so far, the market agrees. So I've been talking about this since June of last year. And it has outperformed SMH by far since then. But nonetheless, we had Palantir earnings this week. They dipped a little bit, but closed right off of all-time highs, and that makes up a big chunk of IGV now. So I'm watching this kind of broadening pattern here, and maybe it needs to pull back a bit, but this is still strong. One point for the bears here for sure is the transport. So I'm now looking at this as kind of a bear wedge here. Yes, you got the nice inside bar, but you haven't done anything with it. I mean, you're barely, look at where we closed today. The high of this was 13,982. We closed at 14, it's like 40 points, right? And then you look at the SPX, and look at how much higher it is than that reversal bar currently. Or even QQQ, or heck, even IWM. Like all the indexes are way higher. So transports are weak. That's definitely a negative. If we can break above the 50 MA with conviction, then, and hold above it for the whole week, I might change my mind. But, especially if we can close above 14.5. But right now, I would be careful with this here. All right, let's get over to rates. There's Bitcoin. Bitcoin had a really good week here, too. We'll talk about that, as always, at the end. But, yeah, the 2-year here. Got a bounce here today and this week, really. Possible higher low. Now, I'm in the camp here. I could be wrong, but I'm in the camp that they're going to cut in June. I don't think this is going much past 4%. I think this will head lower. And, if you're down near 3.6 in June, I don't see, unless Powell really, really wants to make things political, which they say they're not, but this is the guy that cut he cut twice in front of an election, and now he's saying that I'm not even making this up. He said there's a higher risk of unemployment and inflation. So that means stagflation, right? But this guy, 6 months ago said, I don't see the stag or the inflation. So, whatever he wants to say. What my point is, though, if the 2 years lower, he'll have to cut, and I think that will be, personally. Right now, though, nice higher low there, so it may have a counter trend pop in it. But the long end, I think, will stay firm. And if you look at the big picture of the long end, like the weekly, this is really strong. This is really strong. It's a very strong trend here. So I think that's going to be problematic in general. But as far as cuts are concerned, I think that can be on the table next month. Probably just a quarter point. But anyway, XHB down 36 cents today. But again, sideways week. And it's trying to consolidate to go higher. Same thing with VNQ, but I think these are both into a lot of resistance. I don't see them going too much higher from here. Banks held up okay this week. XLF is flat to the penny today. And look at how we back tested this trend line here. So almost exactly. But trend is up still on financials. That's a big point for bulls. KRE and KBE also green on the week. And broker dealer is bright green on the week too. So nice moves there. Oil did squeeze some shorts a little bit. We gapped down Monday on that OPEC news, and then really just V-shaped all week pretty much. So there's the gap down, up, pull back, up. So 62 is the next level here. And then through that, it's 65, 66. Well, sorry, I'll say 64 to 65 first. We don't get too ahead of ourselves yet. A lot of shorts here in oil. XLE, nice move today, and that's starting to firm up. XOP got that. I told you guys about that island last week, and it broke out. I'm wearing a dunce cap right now because I didn't buy it. I should have. I don't know what I was waiting for, but maybe some of you guys did. If you did, nice job. It's got some resistance at 120 and then 125 for now. Yeah, we're right into the 50 MA, but nice close on the weekly. So good job to XOP bulls. OIH also up. This one might catch up to that. We got Nat Gas here with a nice move this week too. Pullback Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then a little breakout on Friday. So energy moving up here. Uranium also had a good week too. There's CCJ, URNM, URA. These all did good. This isn't a little bit of resistance here though, so just be careful with it. But they all had nice rebounds here. There's URNJ. Like, you know, got some resistance up here, so just be careful. Dollar index is interesting to me. So we had a nice little breakout yesterday. A lot of trade deal talk. We got some more coming out tomorrow. Well, not deals, but we did a deal with the UK, obviously. There's, I think Besant's going to be over there talking to China now. So that helped the dollar out. Also, we saw here euro dollar kind of breaking through this trend line. And I believe I saw something from Zero Hedge earlier. I don't have the exact data, but there's, you know, heavy short positioning in the dollar. And I've talked about this for the last like 3-4 weeks. And I think that this could be set up for a squeeze here. If this can hold above 100, especially if we get positive news out of China over the weekend, this can squeeze up to the 50 MA pretty fast. So I think dollar is maybe poised for a move here. Gold, on the other hand, we're watching for a lower high here, and if we take this low out, we'd have the first confirmed lower high and lower low since, like, you got to go back a long time. Like, I mean, technically, like, you could say, like, kind of right here was, but it's really not that good, is it? Let me get the 2-year. Yeah, I mean, you pretty much have to go back to, like, right here. So literally a year ago, this was April of last year. That would be, and look what happened. I mean, all it did was lead to a big consolidation leg that led to a consolidation that led to a breakout. So that to me increases the likelihood of more consolidation here for gold, if that happens. If we make a lower low here, which isn't a bad thing. It's had a massive run. Silver held up this week. I think it was decently green. Still trying to base out a little bit. Platinum finally got a nice pop through that little trend line there, so maybe that can get up to 1040. Palladium got through that its respective trend line as well, and I'm looking for maybe 1025, 1050 on that, if that can get through. And then we got copper, which I'm not even really paying attention to because this is all over the map. Even today, look at this. This is ridiculous. Wild. This is hypersensitive to tariff news, as you can imagine. It's just all over the map here. Anytime there's any sort of trade talks, it's just not much to do with it. It's just the range is too great for me. Right now, Bitcoin though, again, strong week. Breakout yesterday, and basically, I mean, it's almost at all-time highs. So nice breakout. We talked about this consolidation pattern. There was nothing wrong with it, and it broke higher. Another thing too, Bitcoin dominance. Nice little slice here, kind of, you know, if we draw like a trend line. You can see we did break that. I mean, you could even draw it from like here too if you wanted to. That's probably better. So right there, so a nice little break there. And you can see all the alts ripping higher today. Ethereum was up like 20% yesterday, up another 6 today. So alts getting a nice bid here versus Bitcoin anyway. And Bitcoin itself still holding up very well. Looks good. I don't really see any problems. So again, markets, holding up out. I'll give bulls the benefit of the doubt for now. I don't really see any issues here, but we are getting close to kind of some resistance up here in this 58-ish area, especially on the futures. This is a Liberation Day pivot high. That's at 57.73 ES, and then you got like 58.50 above that. So a couple of levels we're coming into. Just be careful here. Maybe getting close to a time to hedge. So, but anyways, guys, I'll wrap it up here again. You guys take care. Don't forget to come find Jason on Patreon. And come find me on carnivoretrades.com, and I'll see you guys all next week.